Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album War. Today we've got a suggestion from one of our viewers, a pretty cool battle, a very relevant battle, I think, because both bands were supergroups, pretty impressive supergroups. The lineups are pretty incredible when these albums came out in the early 70s. What do we got, 72 and 73? The first, From the Ashes of Cream and Mountain, we've got West, Bruce, and Laing Why Dontcha, their debut album, okay, for Columbia Records. And then on the other side of the ring, From the Ashes of the Jeff Beck Group, Cactus and the Vanilla Fudge, we've got Beck, Bogert, and Appice, self-titled debut. There's the guys there. All right. Two very notable debuts from two extremely popular supergroups in the day. I mean, the expectations that the fans and the public had for these two bands were enormous. The amount of press that these got, the press that these guys got, was just absolutely incredible. Did these albums live up to it? That is the question, right? If you ask me, as solid as both of these are, I think both of them are a little bit lacking, and I think both of them didn't really live up to kind of the sum of their parts. Okay, but there's still some great stuff on both of these albums, right? Because, we know the musicians involved. Top shelf. You got the fantastic guitar playing of Beck and Leslie West, all right? Corky Laing, incredible drummer. Carmine Appice, nothing more needs to be said about him. And two virtuoso bass players in Jack Bruce and Tim Bogert. I mean, the bass playing on these albums is incredible. Incredible. What one, I think, had more in favor of it than the other is that here you had both Jack Bruce and Leslie West singing. Okay? Both pretty good singers, I think you might say. Whereas here, you had all three of these guys doing the vocals, mostly Bogert and Appice. Beck, I think, sings one song. I think it's safe to say that none of these guys are your prototypical lead singer. All right? And I think that's what kind of stopped this band from being mega, 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 mega huge. I think what they really needed was a really good, great singer, great front man, and let these guys do what they needed to do. Bogert sounds a little bit, Bogert, I should say, sounds a little like Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad, and Carmine also has kind of like that high-pitched type of thing. Beck is not a good singer, okay? While I don't think that Tim or Carmine are awful on here, they're okay. I still think that this album deserved a frontman, like a real singer. There's all sorts of rumors that they were hoping to get, Rod Stewart to sing for them. Mr. Trench also was slated to come in and sing. Pete French, all right, who, as we know, was the lead singer for Leafhound and Atomic Rooster. He co-wrote a couple tunes on here. So I wonder if there was ever, inclination to have him be in the band. But regardless, power trios they went out as, all right? Both did a lot of business on the touring circuit. Both albums sold very, very well. These guys would kind of peter out after this. They released a live album from their tour of Japan, and that was all we heard from them. These guys did one more studio album, and they also did a live album, and then that was it for them. Drugs and alcohol running rampant in this band, and, egos running rampant here. I'm sure there were egos in both bands, but both short-lived, but two strong debuts. Again, my personal opinion, I think that both of these should have been better than they were, but, in re-listening to them again, there's actually some really strong tracks on here, okay? So let's take a look at each one, shall we? So, West, Bruce, and Laing, Why Dontcha, kicks off with the really great title track, Why Dontcha, really kind of beefy, heavy blues rock, not that different from, Mountain meets Cream type of thing. Then you got Out into the Fields, which is the first tune is sung by Leslie. Second tune, Out into the Fields, is sung by Jack Bruce. Really good kind of epic sounding track. You know, it's co-written by all three of them, as well as with Pete Brown. Pete Brown obviously has written a lot of stuff with Jack Bruce over the years, and it's got kind of that epic feel, kind of, oh geez, hard to explain. I don't know. It's got some like, you know, nice acoustic guitar work and electric guitar, a little bit of piano and keyboards, and really good vocals. And it just kind of builds and builds and builds. Not an overly heavy song, but it's got heavy moments, but it's just really epic sounding. Really, really good tune. Then you got The Doctor, which is just a great heavy blues rock rave up. Really dig that song a lot. Leslie West on vocals there. Then when you got Turn Me Over, okay, real bluesy tune, you know, a lot of slide guitar and stuff like that, harmonica. It's okay, not one of my favorites on the album. Then you got Third Degree, which is their remake of an Eddie Boyd, Willie Dixon tune. Fantastic, okay? Just, again, great, like, early 70s, you know, blues rock, you know, taking a blues staple and making it their own. A lot of great guitar work from Leslie on this album and on that tune. Shake My Thing, Rollin' Jack, okay, another bluesy tune, sung by Leslie. While You Sleep, another kind of real bluesy tune, more of like an acoustic blues kind of tune. Again, not one of my other favorites on the album. Then you got Pleasure, cool tune, all right. Rockin' tune, gutsy guitar playing, great bass playing from Jack Bruce on this whole album. And then Love Is Worth the Blues, which is monstrously heavy. Some sizzling riffs from Leslie West, all right. And lead vocals. I mean, this is like a long-lost mountain tune. It's just great stuff. And then kicking it all off at the end is, or ending it all off, I should say, is Pollution Woman. All right, which again, kind of a bluesy tune, but got really good melodies. Nice hooks in that tune as well. So probably one of the tunes on the album. Potential for some, you know, hit single stuff. So as we move on to the other release, all right, like I said, coming out in 1973. Beck, Bogert, and Appice. Beck, Bogert, and Appice, whatever you want to call it. You've got the kickoff track, which I've always dug quite a bit, Black Cat Moan. It's just a really good kind of grinding bluesy rocker. You got a vocal from Beck. Beck's not a very good singer, all right, but his guitar playing is just killer on that. Then you got the absolutely smoking Lady, all right. Lady is killer. Who's singing? I have to believe that's Carmine on vocals on Lady. Let me just double check that. Lady's just got some really good, yeah, that's Carmine on lead vocals on Lady. Lady's got some really good kind of like shuffling rhythms, you know, booming Bogert bass, and of course, you know, just slashing guitar licks from Beck, one of my favorite tunes on the album. And then Oh To Love You, kind of like a, you know, bluesy pop number. Not a big fan of that one. And then you got their remake of Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Of course, Stevie originally wrote that for Beck. Beck turned it down initially, and Stevie recorded it on his own, which I believe Jeff also did some guitar work on the studio version of that. But then, you know, when these guys got together, they decided, yeah, let's do our version of it, right? Smoking hot. Then you got Sweet, Sweet Surrender, kind of like a, you know, poppy R&B type of track. All right, decent enough, got some good hooks. I believe that is that Tim singing that one? Sweet Surrender, track number 5. No, that's actually Carmine, okay? But the next two tracks, so Why Should I Care and Lose Myself With You, those are both sung by Tim Bogert. And those are actually pretty cool tunes. In fact, they remind me a lot, kind of because of his vocal style. He's got that kind of high-pitched thing going on. Sounds a little like Mark Farner, and these tunes are kind of like, you know, funky, you know, rock tunes, all right? Kind of heavy, not too heavy, kind of bluesy, but definitely got some funk, good rhythms going on. I like those two tracks a lot. What else we got? Living Alone, okay, and then, which is a really great track, and then I'm So Proud, the Curtis Mayfield song, kind of finishes out the album. Ironically, both of these albums have a couple cover tunes, but that's okay. They're done pretty well. So what do I think? Like I said, I dig both these albums. I really do. I think they could have been better, but for what they are, all right, you know, man, the lineups of both of them are killer. There's some great playing on here. You know, not every track is overly successful on either, okay? The highs are really good. The lows are like, okay. As far as which one I prefer, I don't really know. I'm tempted to just say a draw here because I like both of them enough, and I don't actually prefer one over the other because, initially I was going to think, wow, I'm going to pick this just because I love, all three of these guys and I love Beck. But, upon further, listen to this again, I hadn't listened to this in probably a year or so. I was like, there's some great stuff on here too. And I love all three of these guys as well. So I don't know. I think there's a couple tunes on here. Of course, there's my phone. Anyway, let me wrap this up. Hold on one second. Can I call you right back? Give me 2 minutes. Let me call you back in 2 minutes. All right, bye. That's the wife. I think there's a couple tunes on here that far surpass anything on here. But I think this one might be a little more consistent top to bottom. I don't know. It's hard to say. I love Black Cat Moan. I love Lady. Superstition's great. Lose Myself With You. Living. There's some really good tunes on here. But, man, this has got Why Dontcha and Out Into the Fields. And, Love Is Worth the Blues. There's just a couple tunes on here that are like, woof. So, I don't know. I'm going to cop out and give it a draw because I just can't decide. I like them both. They both could have been better, should have been better, but, whatever. They both have merits, okay? There's some great performances on here. But I'm going to go for a draw today. I just can't decide. I dig them both. I wish I would love them both, but that is what it is. So let us know what you think. Remember, there's no right or wrong answers here. It's all personal preferences. Again, it's just a cool way to talk about two pretty cool albums, right? And thanks for the suggestion from our reader. This is a cool supergroup debut album battle today. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube every damn day. Might be a little light with content this weekend. I'm going away for 2 days, so you might not see me doing anything till maybe late Sunday, but certainly next week as I'm on vacation. I got all sorts of stuff lined up for next week. I'm going to try and get to as much as I can. So we'll see you then, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.